No, that's all right. It'll come right. It'll come right. If you've done everything, it just needs to kick its ass into gear. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. It's great to be here as usual. Had a pretty good Saturday. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good to have you back. I tell you what. Speaking 100 words per second is not easy. I'll tell you what. But we fared pretty well in the end, didn't we, guys? Apart from it being chopped off. But no, we'll get. Yeah. Sweet. Welcome, fellow Rumbleites. We just started. Rumble Bros. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Before we do, just remember to follow us on Telegram, Twitter, and Gab, and I guess we'll be posting on our original website pretty soon. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's good. Mm. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's so sad. I mean, the goal of the mainstream media in New Zealand, they just think they own absolutely everything. They think they can do their boomer, rituals of just attacking everyone and just spazzing out at everyone like a possum with rabies, and they think that justifies them just you know having dominion over politics in NZ. It's like, no, 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 that doesn't belong to you. Apparently, it belongs to one man who's really making everybody convetch, especially in the MSM. That would be Winston Peters. It is, yeah, yeah. Just this one guy. He's his own Pepe, really. Um, his own rare Pepe. How he's making them. Yeah, this caustic, I suppose, in their anger. So yeah, now it's good. I like it. I like it. It just goes to show, that they don't control everything, and that it would seem to me that Winston is trying to um, get the ball in his court, get all the balls in his court, so to speak, and make sure things go his way. And I think that's what the MSM actually acknowledged in one of their Jews Hub and stuff articles. Is that he's getting it just right? So we'll see what that looks like. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be anything based or red pilled, but I think it's a better sign than, Baldy and Derpy getting their way, and it being a much shorter process. Mm, mm. That's right.
That's
Hang in
right.
there,
Well,
guys. We're just gonna have this get this checked out. But I think that. But yeah, uh, dominion over politics. All good. All good. Exactly. Well, mm, I'll Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is our country we're talking about here. Nothing could be more important. And, implied in that is that they've already got all the parameters and structures set out, ready to go about what Luxon and Seymour have to comply with. But before, they actually execute anything. So they've already got it all set up and ready for them to just follow the script, so to speak. And that's probably why they're getting so pissed off, because Winston doesn't want to follow that script. He's going, no, 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 we're not following the Globo Homo NZ script that the elites are putting there for us and the donors. We're following, this is my country. We're following it my way, so that they're just increasingly getting more and more butthurt, and that explains why they're getting so anally enraged, because it's just they're he's we're not accepting their script anymore. It's like, no, this is our country. We don't want the gay yeah, the globo homo sort of agenda anymore. We actually want things to go our way for once, actually. Mm. So that's what that's indicative of. I think that is very strongly implied in that. Yeah. So I'm glad that it's actually take. I mean, anything to
yeah, that,
frustrate their plans, right? From getting them to drive it deeper into the cesspit the world has found itself in, or the West. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Asia Pacific economic. How much are we going to sell out to the Chinese? I mean, yeah, maybe we'll get some good, bananas and coconuts from the. But we all know that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean it's just going to be like, yeah, how much we can groom Xi Jinping. Actually, I think that's what's made. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens in regards to that, and I hope New Zealanders pay attention to that, because that is kind of dictating, to a large degree, our economic and foreign policy, and that has come under quite hot water as of recent. The New Zealand military and government is becoming increasingly aware of the CCP Chinese presence throughout the Asia Pacific region. With their navy, and we're actually the government has decided to, as of Chris Hipkins, this was toward the latter of his government, that they decided to bolster the New Zealand military in preparation for attack from the CCP. So that yeah, yeah, I don't know. They're just sour. They're just being yeah. And that yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. It'll be very interesting to. I mean, what I'll say is they're very good at putting on a face. Like, they ask them about stuff, and they don't really say much. They're just like, oh yeah, it's going good. Things are chugging along, and yeah, see you later. And they get into their limo. Yeah, like, yeah, I think Seymour seems pretty happy. I think he's just kind of happy to be part of the whole scene. He's Yeah, where before he spent the rest of his like career like autistically screeching, and it's just Winston Peters been shaking the hands of everybody else basically. Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll see. It would be actually interesting to know what actually is going on. But yeah, it's a good sign. I think is that. Mm, 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 yeah, yeah. That'd be so cool. Like just open revolt against gangs or putting them in work camps or something like that. That'd be good. I think so. I think it has to because I mean, looking at the US and Britain and everywhere uh, where they've implemented this policy of being so liberal with criminals, it's like it's just oh mm, yeah mm, yeah yeah mm, yeah yeah. Exactly. I mean, you'd think, Christopher Luxon being a part of the, Hammerskins and the Aryan Brotherhood would like understand us, for so long. But he, yeah, no, I'm just joking. He will. Yeah, just joking. That's a joke, of course. Don't take that seriously, anybody. Just in case. I don't know Luxon that well. Maybe he was a part of that group, but yeah, I'm just kidding. He probably was. You know what? He probably was. But yeah, but what do you think it is, Hector, that they are? Yeah, I think that his long lost brother, Paul House, is now taking up the mantle of the great work he's achieved in Ohio. but yeah. Speaking of which, Hector, I mean, do you think? I think the main motivators for getting Peters in government again, and albeit completely misguided, getting National Act and power again, was probably motivated largely by what you say, the gangs and the out of control crime. What certainly a factor, and I think quite a big one. And I also think it was the mandates and probably the whole loony climate change agenda, and probably some other, maybe not so much. Yeah, yeah. Mm, mm. Mm, yeah, that I think was the biggest determinant and why there was such a big show out in Acton National. And then you know what? Thank goodness Peters came through as well with his NZ first. So I think, do you think it's mainly that, which is what they're discussing? Because as we know, Luxon is no different from, or hardly any different from, Labour Greens, right? So, I mean, we know that the National is there to cuck us once New Zealanders have conceded to the National Act conglomerate, the political. So, mm, mm. Oh yeah, it was just further circling down the drain. I mean, that's where we are now. And then Jacinda further circles us down the drain to complete global homo tyranny. So it just gets worse and worse with each election cycle, our predicament. So I mean, I think what we can at least I guess is that that they're now that the other side of Global Homo is in power in NZ Parliament, they are trying to say, okay, let's we said this about prison gangs and we said this about Three Waters and the Maoris and stuff like that, right? But let's bring it back. Let's dial that back. We're not actually going to be so harsh in our or radical in our measures to do those things we said. And Peters is going, no, 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 look here, we're gonna pull it back a little bit. We're gonna make sure you actually do more of what you say, because that is what you said. And mm, yeah, either. Yeah, I think we could be seeing, Winston. I notice isn't as jolly, and he was quite merry-go-round kind of casual sort of in his persona throughout the years. I remember him, but now I've noticed he's quite a bit more serious, and I think that reflects what all Kiwis are feeling now. I think Winston has sort of presented for the longest time sort of I would say at least a bit of a breakaway in New Zealand politics, and where he stands quite uniquely, at least away from sort of the left wing political mass that dominates most of NZ Parliament. So I mean, he and that's why he's been attacked so much in the media, I would say. So there is something there, but whether he will actually follow through, which is a big ask, to be honest, given given this political climate. But perhaps things are a little bit different. How much that determines what we'll get in the end is another thing, and that's why I just reiterate again, repeat myself for the billionth time. There is no knight in shining armor coming to save us, guys. But we've got to use what little we're given each day, each election cycle, uh, you know, each Twitter post that Jake Shields does, or Candace Owens even, why not? Or Elon Musk, that's probably a better example. We've got to use each bit of material we can get and just expound upon that and try and make the most of it. And we'll get into that later about how that, I think, has come into fruition. We'll get into the Elon Musk thing later, but yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. But either way, we got to keep going, right? We got to use what we're given with whatever little lemon, however big or small the lemon is, doesn't matter. You just got to use it and make the most out of the juice you're given, and that's it. Yeah. And sorry, go ahead, Hector. Sorry. Okay. They seem to be pretty damn good at doing that, don't they? Seems like to be. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just like. Can I just say, like, just quickly before we transition over? It's like it's almost like you give brown people all this stuff, like expecting them to use it to come up more. Using their own lemons, so to speak, as I was just saying, to bring themselves up and out of poverty and so on and so forth. But they just become bitter complainers. It's it's just like it's really like it's really like you subsidize what you get, right? So anyway, I'll let you lead into this, segue into it.
What do you fear about the fact that Te Aka Whaiora may be scrapped? What's that going to do for
Well,
for Māori health outcomes?
Well, we've been working on that since 2008 to change the way the health system has been responding to Māori, particularly given that we're the poorest of all the groups of ethnicities in this country. We are the sickest in this country, and we are the ones who are the least educated, and it goes on and on and on.
So nobody disputes those stats, but the way to make them even or equal or equitable is the way forward. And I guess that, are you concerned that this idea about equality doesn't actually mean equity in terms of outcomes?
No, it doesn't.
That's where they're going to go back to.
Yeah.
We eat the most KFC. We're the most stupid
We're all
and
on the
fat.
same playing field. We're all have the same opportunities. Well, we know that's not true.
Right.
And the inequities in this country are stifling. The racism in our country is stifling.
Oh my
and
gosh,
it continues, and it
racism.
never ever stops.
So if you had one quick chance to give a message to those three men around the coalition negotiation table, what would it be?
Māori
More
need
KFC?
to be at the table because we are a partner under Te Treaty o Waitangi. And that's what we are, and that's what we'll always
Yeah.
be. And the
Yeah, what
Treaty
about
of
them
Waitangi,
and
as
all
the
the other
foundation
Maoris too?
document of this country, means
Mm.
and is the reason why we are here together in Aotearoa.
Lady Te Reiti Moxon.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah,
much for your
there
time.
is.
Tēnā
And
koe.
I think
Kia ora.
Seymour is actually like 1%. Well, not that 1% even matters, but I don't want to be mean, but the thing she's wearing around her neck kind of looks like a giant, big green gummy bear. Like,
What
I
do
don't
you
know if
feel
that's
about the
just
fact
me.
that, te aka whai ora
Yeah,
mai?
I probably need to eat. No, I'm good. I had a big breakfast today. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, there were Maoris everywhere. Like, I don't know if you saw that link, but there's that link of that guy who was elected in Northland. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know if you want to go into that one. Oh, oh, sorry, I just lost my tabs. Ah, what's going on? Yeah, this guy. Like, yeah, I mean, like, what? He's including council meetings based on the moon. Like it's some sort of moon cult, some sort of ancient moon cult or something, and he's wearing a big green gummy bear on his neck as well. I mean, how can you say these people are like disenfranchised or that there's big race? It's just ridiculous. They're just trying to squeeze the racism as far as it goes. You know, I mean that yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know like even what to is that's like yeah yeah like Egyptians yeah. Yeah, pretty much like the most ancient civilizations like used lunar astro yeah, so I don't know, yeah. But yeah, anyway, I mean clearly there's no racism. I mean the Maoris hold a pretty good position in society. I mean this is just one case, but I mean obviously it's so strange that they play up the racism thing here so much in New Zealand because it's really nothing, or it's not so tense in New Zealand as now people may disagree, but and maybe I haven't seen the whole. I mean, look, the race situation isn't as hell they dictate it, right? It's it's like it doesn't exist. Oh, Hector, are you there? Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Like I said, yeah, it doesn't exist as how they say it. Obviously, the Maoris have a lot of opportunities, and they hold a pretty good position in society. Obviously, they have access to hospitals, schools, food. They have a way to advance themselves throughout society. So, I mean, now we're really beginning to see quite clearly that race and excuse me biology really does play a I'm just thinking about YouTube here, guys. Biology does matter, you know in society, and genetics do matter, and and that has meaningful outcomes in society for all people. So I mean that's kind of the basic red pill of all of this, but yeah, they've managed to put it they've managed to make sort of like a what would you call it, Hector? Like a monopoly out of this, the whole you as racist monopoly. Uh, because that lady seems to be doing pretty well. This guy seems to be doing pretty well with their big gummy bear cutouts of Jade, And wouldn't that be funny if you showed up as like to the Marai or whatever, where they're having like a meeting and they all have their big tickies, and you ask like some Chinese jade worker to like cut you a gummy bear cutout out of jade, and you just wore a giant gummy bear to the Marai. And I wonder what they would say. That would be like, "Hey, what the fuck you doing?" I don't think they would take it very well. It's just making a big mockery of it. But which you don't want to make fun of anybody. You want to be nice. Um, you want to be nice, perfectly nice to absolutely everybody, because that's what we're about, of course, in the society. But yeah, I mean. Where was I going with this? I actually kind of forgot. I'll stop mentioning gummy bears. It's messing me up. Um, Too hungry, man. Hungry for gummy bears. Yeah, but and all this talk of KFC. But yeah, no, it's I mean I mean New Zealanders, I'm sure, as liberal or it's not even liberal, like as normally as a lot of New Zealanders are, like they look at that what that lazy lady just said, and her nice kind of clothes and expensive glasses, and they look at that and they're just like, what? They're like everything is racist. Like what are you talking about? You know, like I'm sure that must like dumbfound people. Like you know, New Zealanders are just they're not like that. That's a good thing of it, I guess, is that they're very apolitical. So they'll see something like that, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't think they're that gullible. But anyway, is our stream okay, Hector? Okay. How's the stream, guys? Is just let us know in the comments and in the live chat. And sweet as we shall persevere. Yeah. Um. Yeah, we could do that, I guess. But you know, it's kind of like, what are they actually? I mean, just one more thing, Hector. Before we move on, like, what are they actually trying to do with this whole marriage in it? Because I showed you that X video of the that I showed last stream that you might want to. I'll put it in the Jitsi chat in case. Yeah, here, let me get it for you. I'll put it in the Jitsi just so it's easier for you. Where's the comments? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I put it here. Yeah, you might want to show that. But yeah, it's like what are they? Because obviously NZ is unique to the UK or Australia or America, even though there are similarities. But like what are they like? They've got these Marys and like general brown people complaining about stuff, but I wonder what they actually intend on doing. Like, is it just to make up a block of people who are like anti-white essentially? I don't know exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess simply explained that that's what it is. You know, just to have like an elite Maori block to just kind of stifle processes in the country. That a lot of the Maoris are always, you know, will feel kind of skeptical towards whites or suspicious of them. So just you know, you know, shovel them through Labour and Greens and all these other places, and get them to act as bullies. That in a nutshell, that's basically what it is. But yeah, yeah,
Those who are threatening us, get out there, yala, yala, mai te awa ki te moana. From the river to the moana to the ocean, we will continue, and she always gets her sayings wrong. But we
yeah.
have to remember, whānau, as long as we are
It's a
here, we
Palestinian
are
thing.
always going to be tangata whenua, and tangata whenua will always stand with other Indigenous peoples to do what's
Yeah.
right. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Those who are threatening us, get
Yeah,
out
it's
there, yala, yala.
even if you're Chloe, I don't know who this chick is, this Annie O'Brien, but like, it's yeah, you'll never, you know, mention Chloe, the Aryan waifu. You know, nothing you do will ever be enough. You know, it's always, you know, gonna be. I'm pretty sure it's because Chloe has actually amassed quite the popularity through just you know, saying things like "Okay, Boomer," and that really has put the spotlight on her. And she is pretty, you know, she does well as a politician, I'd say. Even though she's, you know, like, yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, the "Okay, Boomer" thing, that was very funny. Like that, that was really good. But yeah, I cringe politics, woman politics, right? Woman politics, little girl politics. But yeah, I mean, it's just this thing. I mean, yeah, they always have to. This is just typical. Yeah, I wonder if she'd stand with the indigenous people in Britain or Sweden, or does she just hate Western civilization? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So it's kind of yeah, it's funny that this is happening. But anyway, I just thought that was an interesting video. That yeah, it's they're trying to make everything into this global indigenous communist movement, which is using it as, look, they're indigenous brown people. Yeah, 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 exactly. And they don't understand that by doing that, like making it as simplistic as, brown hordes versus white people, that it, of course, obscures what is actually going on, which is a lot of this is the Zionists, a lot of this is the international rootless cosmopolitan Jewish community who is dictating a lot of what we see in the world, a lot of the problems that we see in the world today. So I mean, this is just sort of like another. This all this does is really act like another front, and then of course they can squeeze the white man dry, and that bitters the Jews. While the Jews keep, they can say, well, we're an oppressed people too, Goyim, to the Mary, and that they continue up the echelons while whites get continue to get disenfranchised and weaker socioeconomically. So, and we lose all our rights. Yeah, yeah, right, right. It seems like that's gonna topple maybe soon. I mean, as long as we keep the pressure up. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah. 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 We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I wonder. So yeah, it's posing it all as indigenous brown people versus well, indigenous white people, to be honest, because that's who they're trying to disenfranchise in indigenous white people. So yeah, yeah, that's the lens they're trying to pose. Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. That's kind of like their whole thing, isn't it? That's the whole point of to Party Murray is like, yeah, yeah, definitely give these people a follow, guys. Go on Stop Co-Governance NZ and follow these people. Follow. I don't know if Julian Batchelor has his own Twitter page, but definitely get involved. Follow this page, and because this is important, share the links around, share it with your family, and yeah, get involved with all these people who are involved with Julian Batchelor as well, and these people, because it's crucial that every Kiwi knows, really. Mm, mm. Okay. Do you want me to? Okay. Okay. See you guys. Oh, okay. Yep. No worries. Oh, okay. Cool. Yep. Yep. It's Mossad, man. They saw our stream. Hmm. Yeah. I'm just gonna be reading some stuff. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Which topic are we covering next? Okay, sweet. I can read through that link if you want, but That's up to you. That's if you wanna. Maybe you have your own thing. That's yeah. Okay. It's a long article, but I'll try to get the main. We'll go through it and discuss each point, I guess. Unless you have other stuff on this, but that's cool. Oh, sorry. Let me just get back on. Oh yeah, can't see anything. Yeah. Ah, cool. So we'll move on to Xi and Biden. Moderna. Oh, here we go. Sweet. Yeah, I can see your thing. I sweet. Okay. So yeah, sure can, man. Sure can. Sweet. Mm. Yep. Yeah, of course. Okay, so this is from CNN Politics. Biden hails productive talks with Xi as agreements reached on fentanyl and military communication. So yeah, this is yeah, that's yeah, perhaps not the right way to phrase that, eh? But yeah, that certainly shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's get into this. So, U.S. President Joe Biden emerged Wednesday from 4 hours of talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, confident the fraught U.S.-China relationship was improving, touting agreements on curbing fentanyl production and restoring military communication, while still acknowledging that deep strains remain. Biden said he and Xi had agreed to pick up the phone and talk during periods of disagreement and called the talks some of the most constructive and productive discussions we've had. So, I mean, just on that, um, I wonder why now rather than before, because before Saudi Arabia and China and Russia and a lot of places refused to speak to Biden because he was, going around eating ice cream, getting yo, sorry, man. Yeah, I don't know what happened either. Yeah, my bad. Um, yeah, yeah, okay. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I mean, they saw him, getting lost in bushes while eating ice cream cones, and so I wonder what has happened if there's been some sort of cool down. But do you have any thoughts on that? Why they're suddenly deciding to? I mean, the reality is, further dissecting this, so they flat out would ignore Biden's telephone calls. Um, but of course, we know that Obama and other people, Biden's just a puppet, right? So it's the people around him that are dictating the terms of his political campaign. Really, it's their political campaign. So I mean, they're the ones, you know, doing the actual dealings with all the countries. I mean, but Biden's just a puppet. Um, and so I mean, how much of this is really genuine is something I would say just off the bat. But maybe there has been a change in relations as of recent. That's perhaps I'm looking into a bit too much. Anyway, it continues. Um, so they say it was some of the most productive and constructive discussions we've had. Yet, departing the summit following a news conference, Biden said he still considered Xi a dictator. Ooh, despite the progress they'd achieved over the course of their meeting. I mean, he is. I mean, saying what everybody knows. I mean, everyone was going like, ooh, like he called him a dictator and stuff like that. But it's like, well, I think they know he's a dictator. We all know he's a yeah. I mean, yeah, nobody really. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get like it's not. like polite or politically strategic in terms of doing deals and stuff to, call someone something with negative connotations, especially as you're trying to smooth things over. But I mean, it's kind of, I don't know how much of a big deal that is, but I saw, Blinken, really cringed over Biden calling him that, which was pretty funny. But I don't know how much of a big deal that real. I think, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much Xi owns, like he doesn't even have I mean, Putin has an inner circle, but Xi, by the sounds of it, hardly even has his own inner circle. The guy doesn't trust anybody apparently. But anyway, the results on fentanyl and military communication were expected ahead of the talks and amount to import progress in improving the still tense relationship between Washington and Beijing. During his news conference following the summit, Biden summed up his approach to the Chinese leader. Trust but verify, as the old saying goes, he said. That's where I am. I don't know if that's my Biden accent, everybody. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. Biden had aimed to use the meeting to put the U.S.-China relationship on steadier footing after months of tension between the two superpowers. Ahead of the talks, U.S. officials were careful to manage expectations, saying they did not expect a long list of outcomes or even joint leaders statement, as is customary after such summits. The primary objective for the talks appeared to be restoration of channels of communication, principally through the military, to avoid the type of miscommunication of U.S. officials fear could lead to an open conflict. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all fair enough. I think that's a good thing. I get a lot of this is just for show, and I mean, I think we all just innately know a lot of this is just kind of window dressing. I think it's important to have these talks, obviously, and stuff like that. But it's I mean, it's good that these are happening, but I think we both know that things have become so globalized now with these interlinked global economies that, I mean, that they really have to sort of talk to one another. They've invested so much in each other and not in themselves, that they've become so dependent on one another, US and China. So it's kind of like, well, this kind of makes me feel that they kind of have to have these negotiations and talks anyway. So it makes me wonder a little bit about that. That these things just naturally have to proceed, and I'll get into that the further we get into this article, because I think they were saying like, oh, Biden was calling all the shots. He was being so tough, but I don't really know. Yeah, I don't believe that. I think he should have been, forever how tough they thought he was. I thought they said he was. I thought he should have been way tougher. But yeah, so it continues. So that they want to avoid an open conflict. They want to avoid, and thus they want to avoid miscalculations and miscommunication, especially through the military. So Biden said, my responsibility is to make this rational and manageable so it doesn't result in conflict. That's what I'm all about, Biden said afterward. Biden and China agreed to go after companies who produce precursor chemicals to fentanyl, the powerful narcotic that has fueled a drug crisis in the United States. The U.S. will watch closely to see if China follows up on the commitments made in the summit. Yeah, what do you think about that? Because that's a big one. Yeah, yeah. I don't even think that Biden is like why would they, after it's gone on for such a long time, and yeah, it's like, exactly, it's like the thing with San Francisco itself, which we're gonna get into. Like, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, oh, it's the Chi-Com. Yeah, it's the Chi-Coms. Always the, yeah, exactly. It's yeah. Why don't we? Yeah, why don't we concentrate on that as well? If we're gonna do that, then surely we should address prior crimes that have been done in the near recent past. So yeah, what the I mean this is, if you think about it, this is way overdue, and yeah, that's a really good point, Hector, actually. So that should be, yeah. Oh yeah, there's been nothing. There's been nothing in the way of addressing grievances and the law as well. That there's been, which is probably why this has been allowed to go on for so long. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that there should have been an alteration made to the law a long time ago. So yeah, that's Anywho, the president said the agreement from China to reduce precursor chemicals for fentanyl would save lives, and he said he appreciated Xi's commitment on the issue. Xi also agreed to mechanisms that would address potential military miscalculations and agreed to forums for the two sides to present their concerns. Senior Biden administration officials said leading up to Wednesday's summit that their Chinese counterparts had been reluctant over the past few months to agree to reestablishing military-to-military communications. I mean, I think that is probably, and this is where you can really get into the weeds of this, is like, I mean, we see intercontinental conflict between these two great superpowers, right? But I mean, how much, obviously we see that the Israel influence is clear as day. We've seen that for the longest time, and we even see Russian influence on America. But we also see a lot of Chinese influence, and that, Jews have paved the way for that strong Chinese influence in America. But yeah, it's how much communication is already going on vis-a-vis. I mean, you've got Mark Zuckerberg representing sort of the tech and data gathering sector of the US, dealing with um, you know, oh yeah, yeah. There's actually a lot of evidence showing how the Israel sold data, and it's being governed by Zuckerberg, who is of course part of the Zionist framework, and a lot of others too. You also in your own right, you had Bankman-Fried, who of course hopefully everybody understands that he is a part of that, even if slightly so, he is still a part of that Zionist framework as well. So yeah, it's oh okay, whoops. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well it's pretty much mainly been me. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, okay. Hold on. I'll try and amend the situation quickly, Hector. Yeah. Luckily, it was mostly
Whoops.
me doing most of the talking, guys. But
I
yeah.
think I've been muted maybe the whole stream. I don't know.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Well, but maybe people can. Okay, these things happen, guys. These things happen. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but basically Hector, before, when we got into this topic, Hector was talking about the Sackler family, and we talk about the fentanyl crisis now. Well, why hasn't the Sackler family been held accountable for their crimes with the opioid crisis in in the
Yeah.
US? So that was a very good point, and and that's why I was saying in response to that, you're right. That's a really good point. And I was going, and I was going, that there needs to be, that should have been done a long time ago, and that there needs to be amendments to the law these amendments to the law should have been done a long time ago, and people should have been held accountable. There should have been redress for these crimes to all the victims, and yeah, and as I mean this kind of medical tyranny continues with the what cookie dough. So
Yeah.
but
Yes.
oh yeah, sorry man.
I think our YouTube chat's behind. I think because I sort of OBS wasn't set up properly. YouTube chat's about 10 minutes behind. But Jason says the left hates the indigenous people of Europe.
Yeah,
So
pretty
there you go.
much. Yeah,
I mean, as
and
long
I
as
don't
we
think
keep
that's
it
ever
personal.
going to change. I really don't. Like, I think at a certain IQ range, it just seems that obviously at a certain IQ range, you can't really reason your way through things because too much of a simplistic thinker, right? So with more simplistic thinking, a more emotional reasoning, I suppose, kind of takes a hold of people's reasoning patterns, and they just go, oh, all these rich people, and why aren't I rich? So it's because of them. They're not giving me enough money. Duh. And that's like, that's kind of across the, because you even get that like with um kind of like well, I don't want to say that, but like maybe like some, well, actually I don't know if you get that so much with low IQ whites,
I
but
mean,
there is this.
sort of, but nowhere near to the same degree.
Yeah, but there's this a similar kind of reasoning with some of them. It's like, oh, and then they get caught up in these sort of socialist communism kind of arguments, sort of like Matt Heimbach and these kinds of people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, and it just goes down that kind of silly, tangent. But yeah, that's and that's, I don't think that's ever going to change. Like that, if you actually look back to our ancient Aryans episode, seeing how, I don't know if we mentioned that, but this basically thing where Aryans bring like civilization, technology, culture, and I guess their knowledge, really, refinement. They bring this about. People naturally cling or gravitate to something which is good, and aesthetic and stuff like that. And but then they, you see this time and time again throughout history, the hordes of these people, they take with both hands, and they don't contribute back, and all of civilization crumbles. So I mean, this is literally ancient, not just a historical thing, but like an ancient playwright in a way, organic playwright that just plays out throughout the annals of history, that just echo through the tunnel of time. And it's no different. It's replaying itself right now. Um, you know, even even in spite of how different things may be. So yeah, it's a good point that that this person in the live
Yeah.
chat said. Yeah, did you want to say anything with that, Hector?
No, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's I think a part of it, I don't think you touched on this, is China's not in like the strongest position they probably were hoping to be in. Like they're having a lot of internal issues, especially around uh, consumer debt and slower than expected economic growth. So I think
Mm,
a little bit China is sort of bending the knee because they can't really get to the point where they probably want to be, where they can decouple themselves from the United States.
mm,
So I think that China has actually walked a lot of that back because they're not getting the same growth numbers they used to get half a decade ago.
mm,
So there's a lot of like economic internal issues there, and they're having a demographic crisis.
mm.
They have a lower birth rate than pretty much most Western European countries. So China's pretty
Wow.
much like, unless they industrialize more, but even then, like how much more can they really industrialize?
Mm,
We might be reaching like peak China within like the
mm,
next 5 years, and then there will just be like a slow downhill sort of stagnation, sort of, well, not really a
mm,
stagnation. It might be similar to like Japan, where the country hasn't really grown for like 30 years.
mm.
So we might sort of be reaching peak China because their population's going
Yeah,
to start going down, and the
yeah,
economy's not going to grow the same way it used to. So
yeah. And under normal circumstances, look, that would actually be fine. I mean, you look at Japan, and they have an aging population. Their population is in decline, but I mean, do they really need to be exponentially increasing their numbers all the time?
oh, I mean,
Especially
you
if
don't,
most state.
and
Yeah, you
they're
don't.
fine.
Yeah, and they're fine. They're absolute. They're happy. They're healthy. They're they're doing, yeah, fine, as you say. And normally in China, everything you say, I've heard about as well, and that's true. And um, but in comparison to Japan,
Yeah.
under, as I said, under normal circumstances, that would be fine. But China has just built their infrastructure and manufacturing up so quickly that with this aging and rapidly declining population, how are they going to keep all the bells and whistles functioning in their country, so to speak? So it's a bit of It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's basically the Chinese have, bet on growth that's already starting to sort of subside.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
things aren't going to keep being the same way they were in the 2000s. That's like a lesson Japan had to learn in the 70s and 80s. After
right.
like the 80s and into the 90s, Japan stopped growing. And because they stopped growing, it caused all these speculation bubbles to pop. And we may be looking at something similar in China. And there's probably a lot of people in China that know this. They
Mm,
probably know
mm,
that they have the peak population of like young working men that they're ever going to have. It's just going to
mm.
go down from here, really.
Yeah.
So we might. So I think we're sort of are at peak China, and peak China
Mm,
is probably not where they're hoping it would be.
mm,
For a lot of these politicians like Jinping, he was probably hoping to be like surpass the United States, but I don't think that's going to happen
mm, mm.
realistically.
Yeah, yeah. Especially that they're so dependent on the US, and
Yeah,
US is so dependent. So, what do you think? Looking in the next couple of years, Hector, what do you think that implies? What kind of global situation, or what kind of China are we going to be looking at? One that's a lot more run down and less able to project power,
I
or
think sort of like Russia, but nowhere near as like in decline. Like it will be a bit of a decline, but it won't be like the difference
mm,
between the peak Soviet Union in the 70s and Russia now, where it's like a shell of its former self. It'll be,
mm,
it'll be a strong economic power. It'll be similar to probably just a little bit less productive and have a bit less industry than the European Union is now. Like the European Union is a powerful super state,
mm,
and that's probably much where China's going to be. And
mm,
US dominance realistically isn't going to uh, come to a complete end. If US dominance ends, it's because of the United States' own policies, not because of an external factor like China. That's
mm,
the way I
mm.
see it.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was so interesting. Like people for the longest time, I remember, saying that, oh, China's going to rule the world. They're so
Nah,
big, nothing can
it's
stop them.
not.
And it's like, well, hold on. It's sort of like, yeah. I mean,
Nothing grows forever. Like
mm,
this is about economics. This is about everything. Nothing
yeah,
grows forever. Like things have to come to an end.
and
And
it's the way they've grown as well.
yeah,
It's yeah. I mean, that there's all these young people that can't find work. Millions of young people that all went through. They wanted to create like a white collar upper class of scientists and engineers and lawyers and stuff. But now they don't have the infrastructure to support them, and now you've got all these kids not knowing what to do apparently. Yeah, I was I must admit I was caught up in that. I was going, how do you I mean, I knew there were problems, but all the time it seemed like they were growing. But
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, they've had
mm,
problems with like consumer debt and
mm,
overinflated housing market for a
mm,
while. So
yeah. Also, Taiwan apparently, the state of Taiwan said China may not be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027. So even from a military perspective, or a military assessment of the CCP forces, that it may not be, and that's if they're ready, and if they even want to do that, invade Taiwan, which is the Taiwanese National Security Council. Um, what's Secretary General Wellington Koo. Uh,
Wellington
yeah, his name's Wellington Koo.
doesn't
Maybe
sound like
that's
a
the Western.
Chinese name. I don't know.
Yeah, Wellington Koo. Yeah,
Oh,
but
I'm mates Jacinda.
yeah, he said he doesn't think that China really needs to carry out amphibious landing operations to take Taiwan,
Well, I
but
mean, just regardless, amphibious landing operations are hard military maneuvers to pull off in the best of times. So
I mean
it'd be a
that
massive risk if it happened and then it didn't even work out properly.
Yeah, and especially with the carrier strike groups that the United States, and then the two other largest economies in the world, Japan, which is currently bolstering its military defenses, especially in the wake of China increasing its trying to push things around, people around, and then Britain as well. But it's that, and then Taiwan's allies. It's a big ask for China to try and be so aggressive to project power in that direction. So yeah, it's we'll see. I'm not sure if there's much practical advice people could take from that, but yeah.
No, all good.
Mm.
So I guess while we're on it, we're sort of talking about Jinping and our thoughts on China. I think I think we're sort of about to witness peak China, and if they don't invade Taiwan within the next decade, like they're going to go through a economic and demographic decline, so they're never going to have as much soldiers as they have now. So it's sort of like the time is now, really, if they are going to try do it, while they have the biggest advantage possible. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's not going to happen anyway. Like, I think it's all sort of like all played up. Oh no, China's going to invade Taiwan. Realistically, I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah. I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening, and I think China probably. I can see that they kind of want to bring the world to them rather than the European method of going out to the world and changing it. I can sort of see that, although they're not completely doing that, bringing the world to them. But that's just another 2 cents that I'll just throw out there. Yeah.
Yeah, all good.
Mm.
Can you see this one? Just while we're on the topic of before we move on, I think it's funny how they somehow San Francisco finally figured out their homeless problem and like all these drug dealers and renegade blacks like assaulting people and robbing them and be like, "Hey, Bixnold, I need my reparations, shit, nigga." Like it's sort of funny how the government somehow found out how to sort all this out when they have a foreign dignitary visiting, and they couldn't sort this out for less important things like the citizenship's well-being and having a functioning society. They figure it out now, so I guess that's good. Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never, right? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what San Francisco, because I think he's left now, right? I think Xi Jinping and his entourage has gone back to China, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that they're already left, but that's sort of funny.
So yeah, we'll see what if the streets will go back to Bangladesh level of affluence, and we'll see what happens, whether they bring the hobos back or maybe the hobos have been taken off to some like hobo processing facility. But yeah, oh there we go. Yeah, this is interesting. See, it's the entire like these tech bros and stuff, and you know, a lot of prominent Americans are getting very close to. I mean, it's just a handshake. I was going to say a lot of prominent Americans are getting close to China, but you know, this is interesting, huh? I wonder what this is about, because this kind of just came out of the blue, right? Do you know the context behind this? What was actually going on here?
I don't know. I think it's just Elon Musk being like, "Oh yeah, time to make some more money."
Yeah, basically,
Sell Starlink to China or something.
Yeah, expand operations. Yeah, that's true. That could be interesting. Look at this this comment: X to be renamed to G. Yeah, but and Bronze Age pervert
like the
for being a
cringe
divisive Jew. Yeah,
it's like, what about Tibet? It's like no one really cares about Tibet. No one.
Yeah, but
not my problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's just why would he even? Yeah, I don't know. He's that guy. If anybody, that guy's been outed as Costin Elamiriu, and he's literally a Romanian Jew, and a gay one actually too. But anyway, let's look at this. Oh yeah, alarming rise in hate speech on Twitter since Elon Musk took over. Against gay men, 58%. Against Jews, 61%. Against black people, 202%. Never. Yeah, yeah, and pretty much source trust me, bro. Like,
trust me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I mean, it's true. It's like they're presenting something that they're presenting a narrative. Like, who knows if this is even true, or how true it actually is, but they're presenting this kind of sign of morality to show to people, this is bad, gay people and Jews and blacks, you just can't be mean to them, you know. And I think people, I would guess, are not reciprocating, and they're just like, yeah, we've been through Gamergate, we've been through all these feminazis, you know, this is, you know, you just can't concede to. In a way, they're like kind of forcing people to be based by being so gay. You know?
Exactly.
they're so gay that people are like, well, I have to be based in red pill now. Like they've kind of
Have to be.
yeah, like you have to be based, you have to be red pilled. Yeah, it's interesting, but
Don't have any
yeah.
choice now, buddy. You have to be base and red pilled.
Yeah, pretty much pull up in a car with Hector and Gilbert in it. Hector offering you a giant red pill in the driver's seat. It's like, get in, buddy. We're you have to get red pilled. That's the image. But yeah, nah. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad that there's all these improvements. These are good numbers. 58%, 61%, 202%. That's good. That's a good increase.
Yeah, but we need to get the numbers higher.
Yeah.
These are rookie numbers.
Yeah, and where's the women? Where's
where's
the against women?
Where's
Yeah,
Pajeets? Where's Maoris?
Pajeets? Yeah, where's there's I mean that's only 3 categories. Where's the rest, guys? Come on.
Come
You
on,
guys aren't
just
being
slacking.
Yeah, what are you guys up to? You need to take your we just need to the New Zealand government needs to employ just Twitter raid squads against these types, so we can really crack those numbers up, give them a good boost.
Finally be sorted out. We'll
Yeah,
sort them out for you, buddy.
yeah, that's great. So so you guys listening to this, you've got your work cut out for you. Yeah, maybe the governments of Slovakia could do something like that. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah. Anything you want to say on this?
Oh no, I just think it's funny.
Yeah. It's a good achievement. I feel like having a beer after this. I feel like throwing
Crack open a beer. It's like, yeah, good start, but we need to do better.
Yeah, I reckon. So should I read this or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this is the excuse me. This is the kind of post that really sent waves throughout the globe, especially in the Western world. Charles Weber says, "To the cowards hiding behind the anonymity of the internet and posting Hitler was right, you got something you want to say? Why don't you just say it to our faces?" I should have said that in a Jew voice. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, okay.
I mean, why don't you say it? It's like I'm on the other side of the world, or I'm in a completely different state. It's
I mean, if I ever see Juliet Moses on the street, I'll just say that to her because why not?
Yeah, exactly. They probably, yeah, exactly. I mean, we are
Mark
saying
like
it
Diddler
to
or
you.
something.
Yeah, yeah, Mark Diddler. Yeah, I mean, but anyway, they want to act. I'm sure plenty of people would say it to their face, but anyway, and then so in reply to this, the artist formerly known as Eric on Twitter, he says, "Okay, Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to." Oh, sorry. Yeah, that they claim
I was just
to want.
it. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. I'm deeply disinterested in giving the tiniest shit about Western Jewish populations coming to the disturbing realization that those hordes of minorities that support flooding their country don't exactly like them too much. You want truth? Said to your face. There it is. And then, so this is what sent shockwaves. Elon Musk came in the replies and said, "You have said the actual truth."
Truth revealed.
Truth. So, yeah. You said the truth, bro. But yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, I don't know. Is this our new elite forming?
I
mean,
think it sort of is. I mean, it sort of is already. I mean, Elon sort of is already a new elite, and I don't know. We'll see how it is. I mean, he's sort of cringed, shaking hands with Xi Jinping for some reason, even though China's not going to be the golden cow people hope it will be. That's I think that's come to pass. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But it is pretty based. He obviously knows something going on with the Jays because he's like, I mean, you don't just say this out of nowhere. So some of the rhetoric is going through from our guys. You have the base rhetoric from this used to only be on 4chan where they go, "Oh yeah, maybe we should talk about these people with big noses that seem to be shilling for refugees and mass migration all the time and all this anti-white hatred."
Yeah. Maybe what's going on here? What's this Talmud?
Yeah. What's going on here? And it's good to see the more mainstream people coming through.
Even
And
Vivek Ramaswamy in the third Republican debate, called out the anti-white hatred.
yeah, what's up with
And
that? Why is like the Pajit saying like all the base takes about like anti-white hatred? Why does it always like have to be some weird Pajit or a Chinaman that comes out of America? It's never like an actual white. Like you had Kanye, now you have like Candace Owens. Oh, I guess maybe Elon Musk is your white man that says all the
yeah,
base stuff instead of like a brown person for once.
true. Yeah. But I mean that is weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, why are we getting the Browns to? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there actually. I don't know. Yeah, because you're right. It is like Elon Musk. Like out of all those people you mentioned, it's like brown people, and then Elon Musk is like the only high profile white person, white man, who
Yeah.
is saying. You're right. You're right. That is kind of. I've thought about that myself actually, and yeah, I don't get it. I'm not really sure. What does chat think that's about? I'd like to hear what you guys think, but yeah. Not all. So Nick Griffin of the what was he? The national.
Yeah, former
uh,
BNP leader in the UK. He used to be in the European Parliament, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But he says not all patriotic Americans are taken in, and he's you've got these boomers waving Israeli and
We
American flags. Yeah, and he said we stand with the people who control the banks, media, and Hollywood. I mean that's like so true. Like that they complain that the Republican
Same with the
boomer.
leftoids. Like leftoids are the
Mm,
same ones, and like, oh yeah, whiteness or whatever needs to be dismantled, and the West is evil.
mm,
And
mm,
then
mm.
it's literally, oh yeah, we stand with the people that control the banks, Hollywood, and the media, and a lot of other things.
Yeah. It's like they all say, oh, it's these people or it's this people, but then they all support the people. Yeah, exactly. The ones that they sort of roundabout. I don't even know if they roundabout criticize them, but yeah. I mean, especially a lot of the like conspiracy QAnon crowds. Like, it's like what's up with that? Like they don't even talk about the people who control the banks in Hollywood. So
Mm.
yeah, it's finally yeah, we're getting this push in the right direction. Finally, we're beginning to talk about it. Yeah, hopefully it continues this way. And yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think that the discussions are just going to mount? Like I know in Israel there's like with the Palestine situation, there's like a big problem now. Like, what is it? 70% of Israelis like hate Netanyahu and the Likud party now, and they say like he should immediately step down after this conflict
No, I mean
is
he's trying
resolved.
to basically this. He's just trying to run the country like a third world dictator. It's sort of funny.
Mm,
It's
yeah, it is. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like that guy is like, yeah,
it's like imagine if you had like a mafia don as the leader of your country, and that's sort of what Israel is.
yeah,
It's
basically.
so bad, like even Jews, 70% of Jews hate him, and that was like, you're not meant to Jew your own Jews. Like, come on,
Yeah, pretty
you're only meant
much.
to Jew the goyim, not your own Jews. But I guess he got a bit too greedy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know how far this is. Hopefully, it just keeps on going and snowballing. But yeah, this is very powerful. People just need to keep hitting this message over and over again. People who control banks, media, and Hollywood.
Should we
And
go
and
back to
just
this? I forgot to play this tab earlier. Sorry.
oh yeah, that's all right. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what Jinping has to say. Is it Chinese or
Yeah.
does it speak English?
This
Whatever
dubbed.
stage
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
development it may reach,
There you go.
China will never pursue hegemony or expansion and will never impose its will on others. China does not seek spheres of influence
Oh, that's
and
sort
will
of
not
yeah.
fight a cold war or a hot war with anyone. China will remain committed to dialogue and oppose confrontation and build partnerships instead of alliances. It will continue to pursue a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up. The modernization we are pursuing is not for China alone. We are ready to work with all countries to advance global modernization featuring peaceful development, mutually beneficial cooperation, and common prosperity, and to build a community with a shared future for mankind.
Sort of funny there. I mean, towards the end there is literally like taking some rhetoric you'd hear like Soros or the Economic Foundation say. It's like we're making a new prosperous future for all of mankind.
Yeah, basically.
Like stealing the
Yeah.
libtard rhetoric. But obviously, I mean, he even said it. He was sort of coping at the start. It's like whatever, what is it? Development China reaches. I think a lot of people within China know that things probably ain't going to be looking too hot after the next 10 years for China.
Well, it's like half of their people are like in poverty or something. Like, yeah,
I mean 20% of their population are still like peasant farmers. I mean, realistically,
Yeah.
that is sort of just looking at it from an economics perspective. Like, getting these people to stop being peasant farmers is like a avenue for growth, but that's really China's only avenue they have now is getting these last peasant farmers to become factory workers, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But there's like factory workers for who? Like, if no one's buying anything from there, it's like, what factories are these peasants meant to work in? Like,
Yeah. No, it's a real tricky one. I wonder how they're gonna figure that out. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, obviously it's
all just
Yeah.
rhetoric. I mean, obviously China
Yeah.
wants to have a sphere of influence. They may not use as much military power, even though they do. There's a lot of Chinese military, like PMCs, private military companies in like Africa right now, like running diamond mines and extracting oil and metals and stuff like that.
Yeah. When I hear that, I go, "Oh, damn it!" Like we, that's what we should have done.
Yeah, I know.
I get like envious and jealous of like, but I can't hate them for it. They're doing what should be done.
No, I mean
Like that,
these brown people. I mean, I guess at this time they're black. Like, these black people aren't using these resources, so you might as well just pay them and then dig it all up and actually
yeah,
use it.
exactly. Hard, yeah, and they're just gonna do what they're gonna do at the end of the day, and yeah, that actually helps them out in a way. I mean, I don't know what kind of conditions they're in. Actually, it could vary across nations and so on and so forth. But yeah, I get so frustrated. It's like, man, we're all about like giving like democracy and equal rights for women and gay people, and stuff like that. And it's like, do they care about that? All they want to do is like drink like melt liquor and shake their butts and eat KFC, and like it's like it's just so ridiculous. Like, how could we have missed this? Like, Africa's this big just lush gold mine. I mean, how could we have missed this opportunity? So I look at the Chinese doing that, and I want to say, hey, credit to you. You did what should have been done. You can't hate a player, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that as well. I mean, to be fair, like even Russia, I mean, Wagner used to run mines and stuff as well, but I think they've been folded into the Department of Defense.
Oh, okay.
I just got a thing from here. It says, "Hey Hector, can you say 1, 2, 3 testing on stream? I'll tell you how delayed it is." I know it is a bit delayed because I set my OBS up wrong because I had to like restart it because I was having computer issues. So the stream's a bit cooked, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, but hey, you know what? Maybe one day, maybe we will.
We'll have the Endeavour News private military company extracting copper from Zimbabwe or something.
Bro, that'd be so cool. I could live out my StarCraft fantasies and harvest oil or gas and minerals. That'd be cool. Except, the Africans would be the SCVs and or the drones.
I do actually think. I mean, you say the West doesn't do it. I think Western companies like BP literally do have their own like armies in Africa. They call it like security contractors, but I think they do actually have some. But it's China and Russia have sort of made a real big industry out of it, and China's probably the leading party with private military companies and private Chinese companies or partly state-owned companies extracting these resources and taking them back to China. Because China is actually quite a resource-poor country, considering how big it is.
But yeah, I thought they have all the minerals that are like required for phones and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
They've got some rare earth metals, that's true, but they don't have much like gas or oil or even just like coal and iron and stuff like that. So they've got some, but they don't have a lot of these ones that you need, to keep the industry running. So they need to import a lot of that.
Yeah, economy is energy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's energy. It's
mm.
physics.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, your economy needs energy, trucks to run, planes to fly, boats to sail.
Yeah,
Um,
power grids to run, factories to keep on churning, that sort of thing. Computers to
mm,
turn on.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. So okay, that's interesting. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, interesting. Yeah. Could we see? I guess what we'll see is a China and the US that works closer together, I suppose. It seems to be, or I don't know. What do you think? What do you think will be the outcome of these talks and discussions?
I think China's gonna be sort of in the same role it is now. Like, it's not gonna be a
Mm,
giant hegemon like I think a lot of people thought maybe, and a lot of
mm,
people were hoping. Or I mean,
mm,
Chinese people were hoping, but sort of not. It's gonna be like it's not gonna surpass the United States
mm,
realistically, unless like the United States collapse, which could happen.
yeah. Especially if they don't get this border
Yeah.
situation and the yeah, and a lot of other stuff. That guy, that geopolitical analyst Peter Zahan, seems to think that the U.S. is a lot better off than China. He has a very sort of white-pilled, optimistic view.
It depends on your view of better off. I mean, economically, I think the economic future of America in our current system is better than the economic
Mm,
future of China.
yeah,
As
yeah.
is a
Well,
lot of the Western countries. Like a lot of the West, I
mm,
mean, people like to go, oh yeah, Germany, they suck or whatever. But it's like
mm,
places like Germany and France and the UK aren't going to completely collapse. Like potentially even the United States and China could. Other countries like, maybe Sweden. Sweden has some pretty big problems. But it's like Poland, Norway, Czech Republic. These countries are all going to be fine for the next like 100 years at least. So
mm.
there isn't going to be like a major collapse there.
Yeah. I heard that Germany does have quite the worker shortage, but putting flooding it with immigrants is just going to make the situation worse. Like, there's,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm hoping like one day, if the worst does become realized in Germany, that the like immigrants just go, we can't get no chicken no more. All right, let's go back to Africa where we can eat some
Yeah,
rats and shit.
I
Yeah.
mean that's sort of the thing. I mean, as things get worse in Western countries, like if as things get worse in like New Zealand and Australia, for example, like less migrants are going to come here.
Mm,
So it will to a degree sort itself out, but it's like you can't really depend on that, and it will be a way too slow a process. So we need to,
mm.
do our
And you
part
wouldn't
to
want
slow it
that anyway.
ourselves. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we want a better like a better economy can be had without
Oh,
immigrants.
absolutely.
Yeah, so like,
Absolutely. It's easy. It's easy to
yeah,
do. It's not even hard. You could sort that out in a day.
yeah. So that's where we really need to go, and then just deport everybody once we take. Maybe I'm being a bit too. No, yeah,
I mean,
I think that's fair
you pay
enough.
them to leave. Pay them to leave. Be like, okay, we'll give you $20 if you go back to China, and then you're sorted.
Yeah.
Or Pajit land, or wherever they're from.
Vegeta Land. Okay, what have we got here? Elon Musk agrees with anti-Semitic X post that claims Jews push hatred against white people.
By
By
David
Goldman. Yeah.
Oi, vey.
Yeah, that says it all, doesn't it? But I mean, it's. I mean, everybody knows it. It's obvious. What's going on? I mean, this kind of honestly just speaks for itself. Yeah. I mean, Jews do push hatred against white people, and yeah, I don't know what more needs to be said. I guess that ADL meeting that they had, where they had all those rabbis discuss with Elon Musk on that. What's that platform called, Hector? Where they it's they have them on like Twitter discussions or something.
Oh,
Like,
the Twitter Spaces. Is that what you're
Twitter
talking about?
Spaces,
Yeah,
yeah, thank you, yeah. All those rabbis where they tried to corral him and talk to him and just subject him to their Talmudic, attacks, basically. Yeah, I mean that apparently didn't work. I mean he's just, but it's just a guy exercising his free speech, of course, and it's good. I hope. I feel actually pretty optimistic in this. Like, what can they do to Elon? Like, um, I don't know. Like, they can't JFK him. Um,
I mean, all of his companies are private. They're not like on publicly listed. So it's not like they can go, oh yeah, we're getting a new CEO, or the shareholders have voted. or something like
Yeah.
that. So
I mean, this is like he is pushing the internal problems with the Jays in the United States, and then Bibi is kind of imploding the Israel geopolitically. I mean, it's like all the country, pretty much every country in the world except the United States, support Israel in this endeavor, and even everybody like the U.S. people, of course, many of them don't support Israel. So it's kind of I don't know how they I don't know what the Jays are thinking right now across the world. Like I'm not sure how they win this one because it's looking pretty bad right now. Maybe they actually have a stronger grip over the U.S. than they do Israel. If you get why I would say that,
yeah,
it's yeah, because yeah, that certainly people are very fed up with Netanyahu all over the world and in Israel, but in the U.S. internally they only have Elon Musk basically, and maybe Vivek saying something more recently, and then you have Kanye and Candace. Candace didn't really do much, but it what was that about? She said that she wanted to. What exactly did she say again? Did you see that?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I think she said something was like, she sort of said some rhetoric. It's like, why are all these Jews pulling out of these universities now when these universities have been funding like anti-white, gender ideology,
Mm,
communism for decades, and
mm,
now as soon as they criticize Israel, all these like powerful Jews are suddenly pulling their funding. It's
yeah,
like,
true.
really makes you
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Even Alex Jones said, like, look, it's up to you guys. Do you want to, love America and lead America to greatness, or do you want to choose communism, and be communist and destroy America? The choice is yours. So I mean, yeah, it's there does seem to be an actual great awakening happening to this problem, and I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. What do you think happens next? Is it just going to continue snowballing until we just remove the Zionists from power? I mean,
You'd hope so, but I think
yeah,
they're going to start kvetching, and they already are kvetching pretty hard. So we're going to
they're going to have to
see.
make some concessions somewhere. Like they're definitely going to have to stop the like Netanyahu is a political survivor and is like Kudzar, but I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know. That guy's a crafty guy. I don't like it. People are saying, "Oh, it's the end." Like he can't come out of it after this. But like, yeah, I don't know. That guy's a crafty sob.
Hmm.
So and then there's such a strong grip in America. Like, what do they? What? Yeah, where do they go? Because obviously people are. I don't think people are going to forget this. What's happened, and it's like more and more. You get like a timeline from 2016 to now. Like it's quite clear. Like people are more Zio-skeptic than they've ever been before. That there's been a steady trend upwards in this regard.
Yeah.
Zio-skepticism,
It's
and
been happening for a while. So
Mm, yeah. I don't know if they're just going to push a candy red button and go, "That's it, Goyim, see ya," and push a candy red button and implode the U.S. or what the. I mean, certainly they've done that throughout their history. In Persia or um, wherever else. But yeah, I don't know, like yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, they're not invincible. They're not invincible. That's for sure. I mean, Lebanon kicked their butt in the 1980s, and
oh no, I think they're getting way weaker. I mean, the
mm,
Arabs have new weapons and new tactics,
mm.
I mean, to be fair, like Israelis have become soft over the last couple decades. So
Yeah, I mean, the Americans and so many people talked about the Mossad, IDF. They're such manly people. They're raised in the desert.
it's like
They're
not
such
really.
yeah. These are video game nerds flying drones around in some pristine, computer lab, flying drones that track down children and pregnant women in convoys out of Gaza, and they blow them up. You know, these are just video game nerds fighting and a lot of these people were actually scared to.
And all those
So that,
weapons come from the United States anyway. Like, it's the United
yeah,
States giving them all these drones and all these like bombs, and missiles,
yeah.
Patriot missiles or cruise missiles, Tomahawk missiles. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean that really needs to, even probably more than like Israel like crumpling. I mean the US situation, just like the whole world relies on the US just de-Zionifying
mm,
itself. Like that is at utmost, and it needs to be done quickly, but it also needs to be done smartly and strategically and peacefully, of course. But yeah, we just need people in power, honestly, who are just ending this crazy servitude to Israel, and then you've solved basically 99% of globalism, right?
yeah, yeah,
And all the tranny global homo issues internally in the US, but also abroad, because they can't keep that, churning that cesspool. They can't keep firing it out if the people who that's their religion, their Kabbalistic religion, basically. They can't continue churning that out anymore if they're not empowered to do so. So it's like we really, even, yeah, the whole world is just really needs Americans to just kind of take them, peacefully remove them from positions of power and socioeconomic positions. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, America's just like ground zero for anything, especially in the Anglosphere, because all of our media is secondhand. I mean, everyone watches like Netflix and reads CNN and whatever. Especially in the English-speaking world. So all of our crap that we get is downhill from America because we all speak English and we all consume American media. Like
Yeah.
the sooner America sorts itself out, the better.
I mean, maybe we should all just, I don't know how like New Zealand can affect America, but maybe the American consulate in New Zealand, or the American ambassador to the ambassador to America. I mean, maybe we could like write emails to them or something, or yeah, I don't know, something like that. I'm trying to think about how. Hopefully, in the future, Hector, we'll get some American guests on.
Yeah, we'll get
Um,
there.
yeah, or even just prominent guests, like, or even like Keith Woods or something, and they can, because it's really like
Oh,
it's
I
all
wonder
about.
how much people are seething, like these Zionists are seething about Keith Woods, because he's been like really like spearheading the narrative, like the anti-Zionist, anti-Israel narrative.
Mm,
That
mm,
maybe we shouldn't just give all these weapons and money to some you know a rogue state. I guess it's sort of a rogue state. I guess it
mm,
technically is a rogue state because they have like nuclear weapons and they don't even disclose it. It's like, how are they allowed to get away with this? Maybe
yeah.
they
Oh,
shouldn't. It's like Keith Woods is like spearheading the narrative. It's like maybe they shouldn't be able to like get away with having secret nuclear weapons while literally every other country on Earth doesn't have to live by their rules.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a pickle, isn't it? I mean, how far is this gonna go, really? I mean, like I don't know, like I don't think maybe I just had a random thought, and I was like, if things really did go sour for them, like really drastically downhill for them across the world, like I don't think they would use the Samson option. I think there's another one like the Samson option that they have just in case, but I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but I'll have to look into that. But yeah, that's yeah. I just think well, who really knows? But yeah. Did you want to continue on your Keith Woods point? You
Oh
were pretty
yeah,
much
I'm,
just
I'm ju- I'm
saying
just
like,
wondering, like, I wonder how much like these people are seething about Keith Woods because he's basically
mm,
like destroying narratives that have taken billions of dollars and decades to build up. It's like Israel is, our greatest ally, and we should give them everything.
you contacted that Aussie guy with
See
up
what
in the
happens.
air.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be good to have him on, and we could do like mergers with like our Australian cousins,
yeah.
and yeah, yeah, no, that'd be cool. Hey man, I actually really need to go to the bathroom. So I'll probably